What's up? The boys are back. We are live. First week of the NBA has dropped 2 days ago. We're here.
2 days ago from when you're hearing this,
Live.
0 days.
Yeah, 0 days.
When we're recording and watching the opening night games.
Correct. Which is an exciting time. It's got the whole fall feel is now here. We got football full effect. Basketball starting up. Can't beat it. Halloween right around the corner. I don't know if you celebrate.
Hockey's happening.
Hockey is also part of it. Baseball is October. It's at the World Series. So I mean, it's some would say full effect right now. October might be a top tier month for sports.
You have the 4 major men's sports in the United States.
Yeah,
happening.
And you have the WNBA playoffs. We're not getting into that. Might rattle you up a little bit. I know there were some people that were rattled, but so yeah, some would say it's a great time to be alive.
Let's go.
Here we go.
We're gonna start with college football. We can't give you all the NBA talk right away.
No, that'll be part of it though. That'll be a big part of it. Yep.
College football first, then NFL, then basketball.
A little sprinkle action.
We're back. If you are focused on one of those categories, feel free to jump to the section.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. You can always just scroll a little ahead, and you're good. So.
Or if you want to just hang out with us for the whole time.
Yeah, we're here for you. We love you.
Yeah, we want that.
Yeah, so there you go.
Alrighty, college football. Week 8 is in the books.
Week 8 is in the books. I would have to say, I feel like we do this every single week, but new number one.
New number one.
New number one.
They didn't want it. Texas.
Yeah, we there was some offline stuff that was said, and
the lights were too bright.
Yeah, somebody wasn't happy with us. But I will say right now, watching that Texas game, Texas obviously losing to Georgia. Texas, when they started out that game, it was so nonchalant. They looked like they were just like, it is what it is. And then all of a sudden in the second half, they turned it back up and kind of became a game. Truthfully.
Did you think that there was a possibility that Ewers was going to come back in when he got benched in the first half?
I did not. That was surprising. I didn't get that play.
That was really weird.
Was that just like hey, I'm going to bench you to motivate you?
I don't know.
Then play you? I feel like once you get benched, you don't usually come back.
It worked a little bit like right away in the second half.
Yeah, no, like I said, they came out in the second half and they looked pretty good. I will say the one thing I never understood, or it's the same with the NFL I don't understand, is if somebody throws a flag and makes a call, how do you just take the call back without ever looking at anything or doing anything? Like, oh my God. Like, the call that it was the defensive pass interference or pass interference holding. Then you have a whole crowd shebang throwing water bottles, throwing stuff on the field.
Yeah.
You guys group together, the referees group together, and all of a sudden they're like, no foul. It's a turnover. We're good. Let's play it.
That's weird.
And it's like, that just is a bad look.
Shouldn't happen.
So, I don't know. I mean, I still think Texas is obviously going to be a team that you have to deal with, but Georgia kind of showed that, hey, they're still Georgia.
Yep.
So.
Don't let them get hot.
Yeah, don't let them get hot. But Texas will have a lot of chances to prove themselves, obviously, playing in the SEC.
You think a 2-loss Texas team still makes the championship or the playoff?
Ooh, that's a great question. Let's see. I would take a 2-loss, and here's the thing. Looking at the remaining schedule for Texas specifically, you play at Vanderbilt. That's not a slouch game. We've seen other teams go to Vanderbilt and lose. So that's not a slouch game. If they can win out and then they potentially lose to Texas A&M or they lose one more, let's say 2 losses, I still think they get ahead of Alabama. I think Alabama's done for the college football playoff.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Their case would be helped if Texas loses to Vanderbilt. Because then teams would be like, okay, Vanderbilt's actually decent.
Yeah.
So like if Vanderbilt is ranked 25, but if Texas goes and smokes Vanderbilt, that makes that Alabama loss look way worse.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I do think Texas, the 2-loss Texas. I mean, you look at the SEC, there's...
Yeah, but if Alabama beats Georgia and LSU...
On the road too, right? One of them's on the road.
LSU is on the road.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know then. So they're 2 losses too? There would be
LSU?
No, Alabama would finish with 2?
Alabama would finish with 2.
Okay.
LSU has 2 total.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be a crazy race.
Which is really what it comes down to. The playoff don't really care about SEC losses.
Right. One, I think the hard part too is once you get to it, obviously there's one team from the SEC that wins the SEC, so they're in the top 4.
And gets the bye, yeah.
But at the
Only
same
one.
time, I don't think you really want to play with any of these teams. And we mentioned it, refer back to our last week's podcast. But Tennessee now basically put themselves in a good position to make it. I mean, there's a high chance, I think they still have to play Alabama, right? No, they beat Alabama, but they still have to play Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And Vanderbilt.
the thing is it will also be very interesting because it's the same argument where it's like, does a loss earlier on in the season mean less than a loss later in the season? You know? Recency bias, some would say.
Don't know.
So we'll see. I mean, we talked about it last week. There could be a chance where 5 SEC teams make the Final 12.
Mm-hmm.
And those are 5 teams you don't want to play.
Probably not.
It's a different beast, so we'll see what happens, but I don't know.
So, yeah. So new number 1.
Yeah, new number 1, Oregon.
Oregon up at the top.
Deserves it. Been playing very well. So 3 Big Ten teams in the top 4.
Yep.
Crazy. That is crazy.
So Oregon's 1, Penn State's 3, Ohio State's 4.
Yep.
And Georgia's back up to number 2.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, Oregon's been dominant. So,
yep.
They do play.
They've played one hard game.
They played their hard game and they beat them. Yeah, the Ohio State game.
The Ohio State game. Yeah,
100%.
but that's really look at the rest of their Big Ten schedule.
100%, it's cake. I should say cake. It is one of those things I will say. So this week you go at home against Illinois, should smoke them. Then you go at Michigan, which I think before the year started, people were probably sitting here saying that's going to be a tough game.
Mm-hmm.
Now I really don't think it's a tough game at all.
Nope.
Home Maryland, at Wisconsin, home Washington. Yeah, I think they're fine. This Ohio State game was by far the hardest game.
They could even lose one and be fine.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they'd be 7-1, or
right.
they'd be 1 loss. I mean, the difference is after this week. So not this week, but the next week is Penn State plays Ohio State. I mean, that's 3 versus 4 right there.
Yep.
So one of the teams is going to have to go up and one's going to go down.
Yep. Alrighty. Top 11 team, because assuming the 12th team is just a slot in conference champion.
Slot in Boise State or Liberty.
Or Liberty, yeah.
Okay.
I think Liberty's still undefeated.
They had 6 votes to make the top 25. Is that what that means? Others receiving votes?
In coaches poll.
Coaches poll, sorry.
Which we use.
Yeah.
Us personally. So top 11, which team is going to drop out?
Which team is going to drop? By the end of the year or this? What are we talking about?
Which team is going to drop out?
I think the first team is going to be able to drop out, and I think they're going to drop out next week. I think Notre Dame is going to lose this week to Army. I believe
Notre
they play
Dame's
Army.
12.
Oh, are they not number 11?
In the AP.
Oh, we're going back to AP?
Yeah, the AP is the one that everybody else uses.
Okay.
So I feel like for this exercise,
We'll
should
go
probably
AP.
use that. Yeah.
No. I mean, here's the hard part. The hard part is I don't.
It doesn't necessarily have to be this week.
This week, that's the hard part. I would say LSU. I think LSU's next 2 weeks, you go to Texas A&M and then you play home against Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Texas A&M is not an easy place to play. Obviously, they smoked Missouri that 1 week. Showed Missouri was not a very good team. If they lose that week, I think they're teetering in the top 11, if not out. And then I do think that Alabama game might push them out.
Okay.
And when I look at the other teams, I just don't think their schedules are. I mean, obviously you have the Ohio State, Penn State, but if Ohio State loses, you don't go out of the 11 unless they lose this week, which I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I don't think Clemson. Louisville's a good team, but they play Clemson. I don't think that. So
okay, here's a maybe a better question.
Okay.
Because a lot of these teams, if they lose one game, it's probably not going to push them out too far.
Right. Just those bottom few maybe. But
so Iowa State and BYU, they don't play each other the rest of the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
And neither of them play a ranked team the rest of the regular season.
Okay.
Do you think both of them get to the Big 12 championship undefeated, or do you think one of them loses before that?
I just looking at this right now. I think BYU loses at least once, and I think they lose at least once. I don't think Utah's a great team, tough team, and then I do actually think at Arizona State is a very tough game to play. I think Arizona State's a good team, so I think they lose one of those games. So out of those two teams, I think BYU might have one loss before the Big 12 championship.
Gotcha.
Which, in turn, would they still be able to make it to the Big 12 championship?
Potentially.
Because Kansas State's up there too,
Well, Kansas State has
They
one
play
loss.
Iowa State.
They play Iowa State,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Texas Tech also has one loss, and they also play Iowa State. So that's, I mean, then you have Cincinnati. They also have one loss. They also play Iowa State. So Iowa State plays 3 of the 4 teams that currently have one loss in the Big 12, and the other one's
so
Colorado.
that's pretty tough. Yeah. So they're up there too. I mean, I think whichever team you have to win the Big 12, I don't think any more than one team will make the college football playoff.
No.
I also think whichever one of these two teams makes the college football playoff will get smoked in the first round. Is that bad to say? Or if they get a bye, so they should have a bye, they get smoked in their first game.
Yeah, because then they'll have to play a team that already won.
An SEC number 2.
Yeah.
Or a Big 10 number 2. So, yeah. BYU is an interesting story, though. They've played a lot better.
I was not expecting them to win last week.
Oh, that Oklahoma State? Your boys?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they played, I mean, the thing about it is they smoked Kansas State. That kind of what's put them on the map. And then it was just, I mean, it's just been done from there. So,
there you go.
We'll see.
All right.
BYU Cougars, huh?
Yep.
Go Cougs.
Who would have thought they'd be good at football this year?
I don't think a lot of people.
Yeah.
And Iowa State, I feel like, is always decent, but I just feel like they never score any points.
Yeah.
It's boring to watch, but they're undefeated.
They're the Big 12 version of Iowa.
Yeah. Must be a state thing.
Fancy that. They're in the same state.
Yeah.
Alrighty, David. You got anything else college football you want to bring up?
I do not have anything. Not too many. I mean, I will say this. Big game. If people don't know this, Nairn is a huge Syracuse fan, football-wise.
Syracuse, let's go, baby.
They play Pittsburgh. That's a very good game.
That's this week?
Yep. I'm pretty sure it's Friday. No, it's Thursday night, so unfortunately you probably won't watch it with the Vikes. Boise State also plays UNLV Friday.
I'll probably be sitting on this couch, and you know what's in front of me. 2 TVs.
Correct. So you got to pick and choose. But
What?
I said you got to. I'm saying that maybe there's something like if the NBA's on. Timberwolves will be on.
Oh, yeah. Shoot.
Maybe your computer.
I got my bad.
Yeah, okay. But Boise State, UNLV. UNLV was the one team that was right outside the top 25 that was still getting a ton of votes.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're a very good team. So yeah, but then like I said, the other game I would talk about is Notre Dame at Navy. I think Navy's underrated.
Undefeated.
And Army, Navy both undefeated, and now you got Notre Dame. So that's my upset of the week. There you go.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens.
Yeah.
We're on to the NFL.
On to the next.
So this week 7 is now done.
Yeah, tough week.
In what regard?
There really wasn't a lot of great games. I will be honest with you. Vikings game was fun to watch.
I would say the Packer-Texans game was close.
What's crazy about that game is C.J. Stroud threw for 86 total yards.
That's crazy.
Total.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Total, and they still scored 22 points and had a chance. Like,
yeah. And
crazy.
They lost on the last second field goal.
Right, they should have almost. Yeah, they could have won.
Uh-huh.
Besides that, I mean, the Cardinals-Chargers game was fun if you have ESPN Plus. I don't know why they do that.
Oh, you didn't?
I don't have ESPN Plus.
Shoot.
So, and to be honest, it's stupid.
I mean, you didn't miss much. A lot of field goals.
Right. What I'm saying is, what's crazy is Justin Herbert threw for 349 yards. That might be his record.
It was a lot. It was very surprising. I think what they're doing is they have the rights to Monday Night Football, right? And so when there was 2 of them, they didn't want to separate it out or like give it to somebody else.
Oh, okay. You're talking about
ESPN.
Yeah.
So they wanted both of them. I mean,
I guess that makes sense because then you get people to buy Prime.
It's literally exactly like Paramount Plus.
Correct. Yeah.
You know,
people do that, or they go when they did. What did they do last year for a playoff game? Was it Paramount Plus or was it like Sling or was it?
Paramount Plus.
Was it Paramount Plus?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do all that. It's the same thing with Amazon
Yeah,
Prime.
it's very frustrating.
You're not going to give away your one glory. I mean, Netflix has Christmas games this year. They pay a lot of money for it. So.
Right.
But yeah, glad I didn't miss anything. I mean, you look at the other scores, like the Ravens-Buccaneers game was never close.
Nope.
And so, but yeah, I will say this, unfortunate thing that did happen this last week, the amount of injuries that came into play, season-ending sustaining injury or season-ending.
Carted off injuries.
Oh my God, it was unbelievable.
For real.
Was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk, done for the year. Deshaun Watson, done for the year. Now you have
DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf
carted off, out for a couple weeks.
At least. Then you have, what's his name? Chris Godwin, done.
Ugh.
And it's just like...
That was disappointing.
And it's just hard because it's just like... I mean, I know it's a contact sport. And then you look at, we talked about it last week with the concussion.
Honestly, that might not even be all of them.
No, there's a ton. I'm guaranteeing there's a ton more. There's probably one from every game that is substantial in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it's just one of those things. I think it is so hard where you have the concussions and now you have this. And it's like, I get it's a contact sport. They did say on the same thing, when you review the Chris Godwin one, it was a hip drop tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're 2 for 2 with hip drop tackles. And we saw what happened to Joe Mixon. Chris Godwin's looked a lot worse. I mean, I don't know who was watching it, but
right away.
everyone went down with that face like, I can't look that way. So you knew it was bad.
Yeah.
Having a Pro Bowl season. The guy was one of the best wide receivers in the game.
Yeah.
Done.
Ugh.
So.
Just very disappointing.
Yeah, I don't like it. Jaden Daniels hurt his ribs. I mean, that's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what happens. Any word on what you thought about Week 7, Chris? Anything you noticed? Anything you made you think about?
I think that the difference between being a good team and not is like expanding.
Yeah, I agree.
So like you can tell who the good teams are and who the bad teams are pretty easily.
Right. Well, and I think what's crazy is it's like kind of similar to what we were talking about with Quinn Ewers, but it's like it's the whole Giants thing. So Daniel Jones gets benched, but then the coach comes out right after the game and says Daniel Jones is still our starting quarterback. Okay, so why not just let the bro freaking play? What's the harm? Can't get worse.
Right, you're already getting smashed.
Like it's 28-3. Just let him play the fourth quarter and hopefully he finds some confidence. I don't think it's a confidence booster to be like, hey, you're benched. But don't worry, dude. You're good enough to be our starter next week. We're riding with you.
Todd Bowles probably wishing that he did that to Godwin.
Yeah. Apparently, I did see something on that. They apparently said when they were on the sideline, he went up to the starters and was like, hey, what do you guys think? And I guess Chris Godwin was like, I want to play. And Baker was like, I'll play. Really? So they wanted to go in the game. Which, I will be honest, I think that was the second onside kick that's been recovered this year.
Second one, yeah.
So it's crazy how much a different of a game Mike Evans obviously went down. Mike Evans was another injury, hamstring, who that's a unique story because they were saying he probably shouldn't have even played.
Yeah, what are you doing?
And then he gets tackled or that one, and you could just tell it was like, all right, that bro's done for a while. And then here's the thing. What's so crazy is if he catches that, it's a different story. I mean, that game is different. I mean, and then Zay Flowers got hurt a little bit. It's just...
Well, the Ravens did the smart thing. They pulled their guys.
Correct.
That's why it was getting closer.
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah, the last possession, so they were up 10.
Josh Johnson or something.
Yeah, they just ran the ball 3 times to Justice Hill or some other guy.
Yeah.
And it was like, wait, you're only up 10. They have 3 timeouts. I know an onside kick is rare, but if they score...
they knew.
Screw it. They said screw it.
They knew.
Yeah, so... big takeaway, I agree with you now. I think that you kind of look at it like... It makes you kind of wonder, so like with the Panthers. 1-6, obviously benched Bryce Young and basically said no to him. But you're 1-6. Okay, so if Bryce Young is playing, what are you? Still 1-6?
They'd probably be 0-7.
0-7, okay. You're still playing for the first overall pick.
Right.
You're still playing for
that you actually have this year.
Right, and so what I'm saying is, like, why not just let these things ride? Where it just doesn't make sense. And I don't get it. Like, I don't understand it, and it's just a rebuilding thing, and you got to take the time to let them rebuild. But I do think it is crazy, on top of what you said, like, the good teams are just expanding their leads, and the bad teams are still just falling back. And on top of it, it just shows also that there's really, a lot of teams don't have a lot of depth where it's like one guy goes down, one guy gets hurt, and I understand it's a quarterback, but it's like you look at the Saints. Derek Carr, who's a good quarterback, he's fine. He goes down. They're a completely different team without him. They can't throw the ball, they can't run the ball, they can't do anything. Mm-hmm. So you're one-dimensional. And so, I don't know, it's very interesting. It'll be interesting. I mean, the Browns are also 1-6. They might never win another game.
They actually might now.
Wait, what do you mean?
You know who's coming in at quarterback.
Who's coming? Dorian Thompson-Robinson? Or are you talking about James?
James, baby. Remember.
I'm pretty sure they just signed somebody too, didn't they?
Remember what one of the biggest quarterback signings of the offseason was?
Backup quarterback.
Jameis Winston. You heard it here first if you go back to, what was that, episode 2?
That might be one of the first few episodes, yeah.
It was 2 or 3 this season.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston called it out.
Yeah.
I mean, if he starts winning games,
I mean, I'll say this right now and
put him in the comeback player of the year voting.
Yeah. I mean, the hard part is you really don't have a wide receiver. I mean, Njoku might get 45 targets a game. Yeah, Nick Chubb came back. Nick Chubb looked actually decent. He
looked all right.
I mean, for
first
coming off a 2 torn, I mean, just the bro's legs are just done. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I think it's crazy. I also will say what's very interesting is, like in the 49ers case, like Deebo Samuel just doesn't play because he has pneumonia. Like, you're telling me the bro just got pneumonia the day of? That's a crazy situation. He was in the hospital.
He might still be.
I think he got released today, Tuesday, today. But, yeah, I think it is crazy. I just think I don't get it. Also, the last thing I'll say about the NBA, or the NFL, before we move on, the Jets are horrible. And we talked about this offline. The Jets were predicted to win that, or had a good chance to win that. Yeah. You now finally bring in your guy. I get it's the first week. First of all, they didn't even target him in the second half. And second of all, Garrett Wilson dropped a few passes, but this defense is just getting torn apart.
By Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russ, who, give him credit, Russell Wilson looked very good. Mm-hmm. But holy moly, dude. I love it. My guy. I mean, so we'll see. I just is, I don't know. Big week this week, though. Tua Tagovailoa potentially coming back.
Big week.
It's crazy now. They might actually be able to throw the ball and win a game. So if you have any of those Dolphin players on your team, well, thank you for stashing them. Yeah. Great call by you. So hopefully he's good to go. He sounds like he's good to go.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see, though.
Yeah, if this is the moment. So, all right, that's all I got.
I feel like a good transition from NFL to NBA is just making sure that if anybody didn't see today, the Justin Jefferson and Anthony Edwards story came out.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
With the iconic recreated Randy Moss, Kevin Garnett picture.
Yeah, that was cool.
So if you haven't seen that,
if you haven't seen it, you probably haven't gone on Instagram.
Yeah, it was circulating
around. 40 of the stories I clicked through were that.
Hey, who did you see first, though?
I might say yours. I don't remember. It was this morning. Right. Sorry, Chris. Yours was one of them. I don't know.
I mean, it was early. I was on that early.
Yeah, so.
Within 6 minutes of when ESPN posted it.
Really?
Yeah.
That is early. That's high level right there.
I mean.
Some would say.
I don't know why I was
scrolling,
looking at Instagram that early, but.
Yeah, what time was that at, do you think?
It was in the 7s.
Okay.
Early 7s.
Yeah. Just a quick little scroll making breakfast or something, or right before you're leaving for work? Or were you already at work? Oh, okay. Some people are grinders. I'm not. I don't know. I'm just saying.
It's a little
aggressive
for my blood.
Yeah. Oh boy.
But now we're on to the NBA. NBA's back.
Yep. NBA first day.
Tuesday
was the first day. We did this with the NFL. I think it's fitting. Maybe we start with it.
Okay. What are we starting with?
Same face, new place.
Okay.
There's a handful of good players.
Yep.
We'll start. Obviously, you have, just being the homers, you have the T-Wolves making a trade. Cat's gone. Yep. Julius Randle, DiVincenzo to the Timberwolves. I think it benefits us. It'll be fun to watch.
Yep.
I think it was one of those things that all three will just benefit from a new. I don't think DiVincenzo's fine, but Julius Randle needed to get out of New York.
DiVincenzo's going to be great for us.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying I don't know if he really needed to get out, but I look at Julius Randle and it was like, all right, bro, it's time to probably.
I mean,
he never played.
What?
Julius Randle. Wasn't he hurt?
He was hurt.
Yeah.
He was their second best player.
Oh yeah, when you're healthy.
DiVincenzo is also like 4th or 5th in 6th man of the year odds currently at the beginning of the year.
Is he?
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, the team's supposed to be solid.
I mean, he's 4th or 5th. Yeah.
Yeah. So then you have Paul George going to the 76ers. I think he's hurt.
He is hurt.
He got hurt.
He hyperextended his knee in a preseason game.
Oh, brutal. Then you have Klay Thompson to the Mavericks.
Wait, what about the rest of the Knicks?
What do you mean?
Mikal Bridges?
Yeah, he sucks. We've won. Are we going to give him credit?
I mean, I'm just saying.
That's true. We could give him credit.
He's a fairly big name.
He's a fairly big name coming from the Nets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, sorry.
I didn't put him on here because I mean, you got to score a basket.
I mean, still on the Knicks.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
So Klay Thompson, Mavericks.
Okay.
Big name. This is the first time that him and Steph haven't played?
I believe
right?
so.
Yeah, because they both.
I believe so.
Chris Paul, Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure it really helps him, but fine. Tobias Harris, your guy. Pistons.
He is not my guy.
He's going to a team that is not good.
He's terrible.
And then I think a big one, we talked about this. This is the last one I put. I know there was more. Harkenstein to the Thunder.
What's his name?
Harkenstein. Isn't that his last name?
Hart.
Oh, no, Hark. This is a different guy. You're talking about his brother.
Oh, gotcha.
So
okay.
Hartenstein, which is unfortunate. He's also hurt for the first month.
Yes.
Which I will say this. I actually think I heard this or did whatever when I looked up his name. It's unfortunate because now we're saying Chet has to play the big guy when Hartenstein would have been the big. Kind of let Chet kind of roam around more. And be
the reason they got him is because they wanted to bump Chet to the 4.
Right. Well, can't
so
do it.
Now,
so
unfortunately, they're going to be just like they were last year. Good thing for them is they don't play the Wolves until like February.
Yeah.
Who else you got?
That's all I got.
Russ?
Where's
Nuggets?
Is he?
Yep.
He's coming off the bench.
Probably.
Yep.
He's also in probably top 5 odds wise of 6th man of the year. Let's see here. Buddy Hield, Warriors.
Yeah. Replacing Clay.
He actually might be the 6th man. Buddy.
Oh, is he?
Maybe. We'll see. Tyus Jones, Suns. Notable for them, roster construction wise. DeMar.
DeRozan.
Yep.
Kings.
Yeah. Moved over from Chicago.
I think that's actually a big one because
oh yeah,
we got now.
It is big.
Kings were my boys.
DeJounte Murray.
Spurs.
He's on the Pelicans.
Oh yeah, Pelicans. He was on the Spurs
Before Atlanta.
Yeah, so he went Spurs, Atlanta, and now.
Yep. Now he's on the Pelicans. That one's pretty big. And then the other one that I was gonna mention was who was it? Josh Giddey.
Where'd he go?
He's on the Bulls.
Oh, so he went to go. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
So, I would say those are my additional ads.
Yeah, additional ads. It'll be interesting to see how those teams use them. I mean, yeah, I don't think Giddey was really that great, but good facilitator.
They brought him in and I believe paid him. So
paid him a decent amount. Everyone gets paid now.
I mean, if we want to talk weirdly constructed rosters just for a second, as we're getting into NBA talk, 2 stand out to me. 1, Pelicans, and 2, Chicago Bulls. Those 2 teams make no sense with how their roster is constructed perimeter-wise.
Yeah, they don't. They have a lot of point guard.
They got a lot of guards.
They have a lot.
All right, so this is the Bulls we're talking about. We got so
who starts
in terms of the starters?
It's got to be Lonzo, right?
No,
he's coming off the bench.
Yeah, he's just coming back.
So
from
Giddey?
Not playing for like 3 years. So you likely have Josh Giddey, Kobe White, and Zach LaVine as your 1, 2, and 3 perimeter guys. And then you'll go Patrick Williams and Vucevic. But then you also have, I would assume, who played a good amount last year. You have Lonzo Ball, who should play at least a little bit to start and see how he is. You got your first round rookie who you probably want to play some because you're gonna suck. And then you have
Javon Carter. Didn't he play for the Bucks last year a lot?
He played a little bit. He's fine. He's
he's nothing to write home about, but he's
a
still
10th man. Those are the main ones. But it's like they literally have all of these guards that are just fine. And then it's like you can only play at most 3 at a time, and you have like 6.
Yeah. Well, this new guy, their rookie, isn't he Zealous?
He'll be a 3.
3 or 4? He could probably be a 4. 6'9"?
Too skinny.
Too skinny.
Look at how much he weighs.
196.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's less than both of us.
No, I'm not 196.
Really?
No, don't put me in that.
Wow. Okay.
I don't have a 9 in front of mine. I still have an 8.
All right. Gotcha.
It's in the legs. It's just not bulking.
And then you got the Pelicans.
No, the Pelicans are.
Their roster is also odd. They lose Valanciunas. Where is he at? He's at the Wizards, I think.
He was like their main guy.
I believe he's on the Wizards. But then, so they have DeJounte Murray. They got CJ McCollum. They got Troy Murphy.
Herb Jones.
Brandon Ingram. They got
Did you say Zion?
Jose Alvarado, who they probably want to play some. Then you get to the bigs. They got Zion.
Yeah.
That's it. The rest of their big guys, they have? So last year they had Valanciunas. They had Larry Nance Jr. who played some.
Mm-hmm.
And they had, well, those were the main ones. Those two, Valanciunas, Larry Nance, and then they would use Zion obviously with them.
Yeah.
They don't have either of those guys.
So, but Herb Jones, they're gonna go small then.
Sounds like they're gonna go small. That's what word on the street is, which would be sweet for Herb Jones.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you want to talk about a guy who's skinny. Brandon Ingram's got to be less than. He's what, 6'10",
6'8",
6'8", 180.
Yep. 190.
That's generous.
Yeah.
That is a slim reaper.
But I mean, it wouldn't shock me or probably anybody else if Brandon Ingram is traded at some point this year.
Yeah.
Because then they can go DeJounte Murray, Troy Murphy, and Herb Jones. Maybe they trade him for a big or something. I don't know. They gotta figure out something. Or maybe they just bump CJ McCollum into the starting lineup and they go DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum. That's 14. DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Troy Murphy, Zion, and Herb Jones. That's not bad, but then, I mean, who the heck
but then
are you
when
bringing in off the bench?
So that's what I'm saying. You don't have a second rotation.
Right, you got nobody.
Right. So I think they have talent. They just don't have that, like, hey, who's our 6th, 7th, 8th guys?
Yep.
So, yeah, it definitely makes it harder.
Yeah, so those two rosters are, I have no idea what they're doing with them, but that's
interesting. Yeah. NBA odds came out to win the conferences. So we got Eastern Conference, Western Conference. Why is?
Maybe defensive.
Why is he shooting a free throw?
Oh.
Where's Brunson?
We got to get him going.
Obviously not going to help him. All right, so the Eastern Conference odds to win. So to win their conference, you got Celtics plus 150, Knicks 410, Sixers 500 plus 500, and Bucks plus 650.
Where are you getting these numbers from?
I looked at it this morning on FanDuel.
Dang, look at that change. So say what you just said.
Plus 150.
So now they're plus 160.
Okay. So then you have Knicks plus 410.
Yeah, they're plus 350.
Oh, shit. So these are way...
That's
so 76ers plus 500. That's the same.
That's the same.
And then Bucks plus 650. So they went
700.
So more people are betting the Knicks.
No. In theory, less people would be betting the Knicks.
Oh, that's why.
Right? Because, like, if it's at 400 and then it goes... Wait, what was it at?
It was at 410.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
No, it went the opposite way. It went
Yeah,
down.
you're right.
It went
You're
closer. So they are betting the Knicks.
Yep.
Yeah. So more teams are betting the Knicks, which is
And
spreading out the...
What was that? 150 for the Celtics? So less people for the Celtics.
I mean, holy moly, they haven't watched
Sixers
this
are
first
the
game.
same. Yeah.
Jesus.
Bucks, more people are betting on the Bucks.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, that is interesting. But I think that is, and just watching this first game for all those people who are watching it, the Celtics are easily the favorite. It doesn't even make sense. Yeah, it's too easy. Now we're going on to the Western Conference. I mean, I would assume. So as you're Is your pick the Celtics?
For the Eastern Conference.
Eastern Conference. Just to win the Eastern Conference.
I mean, yeah.
So, I think that's the obvious pick. I actually really, after watching this first game too, I really don't even see, if the Knicks are the second best team, this is going to be bad. And the hard part with the Sixers, they have talent, but they're the same way. Like, Paul George is already hurt. Embiid's already hurt. What do you want? And the Bucks just always just,
All right, here's a hypothetical question. It's a 26-point game at the beginning of the third quarter. At what point do you just say, wasn't our night, boys? It's opening night.
How much time's left? 9 minutes?
9 minutes.
I think you get it down to about 3 minutes, 4 minutes. And then to be honest, if it's still 30 points and it goes to the fourth quarter, I would not play my starters.
That's brutal. Opening night?
Terrible showing. Terrible showing.
Okay, so you're on the Celtics too.
Celtics, yeah. I think that's the obvious pick. So now I'll go Western Conference.
All tough. Like, you can't.
There's no value.
You can't. Well, there's no value on the Celtics.
Right.
But
you don't want
there's
the Knicks
no realistic view that any of the rest of them would make it.
Right. Well, I think what's hard too is just watching this game is if you look at it, and like we talked about before with rotations, when their second team comes in, they don't really skip a beat.
For the Celtics?
Celtics. They don't, I mean, they obviously, yes, you don't have Tatum, sure, but okay, let's say.
Well, they just have enough good guys where they can kind of separate it out where one or two, they're deep enough where they can have a combination of 2, 3, 4 guys at any point that are solid, and then the rest of the guys that they bring in, you can't leave them because they can shoot.
Yeah, they built their roster around that.
Yeah, very well
crafted. That's why they're probably the favorites to win the Eastern Conference. All right, Western Conference.
Favorite to win the championship.
So let's see how much these changed. Mm-hmm. Thunder plus 310.
Plus 330.
Okay. T-Wolves plus 500.
470.
Knicks
are on the Wolves.
Nuggets plus 500.
Same.
Mavericks plus 550.
Same.
Suns plus 950.
900.
So the T-Wolves. People love the
T-Wolves.
T-Wolves.
And the Sun.
T-Wolves and the Sun.
Suns, yeah. Interesting. Well, I don't love that.
Yeah, I think it is interesting. I do think, I mean, it's always, I mean, the Mavericks obviously would make a push, but the Western Conference, even last year, obviously way more competitive. I mean, just top to bottom, way more competitive, and it just seems like, okay.
It's crazy that the top 3 odds-wise, Thunder, Timberwolves, Nuggets, they're on the same division.
Right.
So the division winners, like, you can get some good value there because, I mean, you're looking at all 3 of those teams. Timberwolves are plus 310 to win the division, and they're plus 470 to win the conference. Granted, it's regular season versus postseason, but, like, it's pretty crazy that the top 3 teams in the West, odds-wise right now, are all in the same division.
Yeah. And then the Mavericks are kind of close behind.
So who would you pick?
Well, I mean, I think the best value is the Timberwolves to win our... Are we talking our conference?
Yeah.
I think Timberwolves, for sure. Because the Thunder being hurt, Hartenstein being hurt, obviously doesn't help. And I do think the Timberwolves, yes, you lose Cap, but I do think Julius Randle and DiVincenzo will be very good. And what were we, 1 game away last year? Mm-hmm. It basically came down to like the last 2 or 3 games, didn't it?
We lost in 6.
What was it?
I think
2023.
I think we lost in 6 to the Mavericks. I mean, to me, I would say probably the best value is the Mavericks. Yeah, best value is the Mavericks. Because plus 550, they got to the championship last year. They have the favorite for MVP this year. Yeah.
You added a
They added a solid player.
Right.
So, like, odds-wise, that would probably be my best bet.
Plus 550.
Do I hope that they get there? No. Because I don't particularly like them. But,
yeah,
odds and value-wise, I would probably take that combination.
Right.
For the Mavericks.
Well, and you look at, I mean, I don't know how many times. So does each team in the NBA play I guess this is a weird question. Does each team play the same amount?
Nope.
Okay. So, like, do the Thunder, the Timberwolves, and the Nuggets play each other more than the Timberwolves will play the Mavericks?
Say that again?
So, will the Timberwolves play the Nuggets more than they'll play the Mavericks?
Yes.
Okay. So, then you look at it like that, where you're beating yourself up on the better teams. The Mavericks are clearly the favorite to win their division, right?
They have the Rockets, the Spurs, the Pelicans, and maybe one other team.
Yeah, so, yeah, interesting. Yeah, Mavericks are great value. I still think, I mean, this could be the year. T-Wolves, we will need it.
I hope. That would be friggin' sick.
So,
That would be sick.
yeah, it'd be fun. It would be fun.
Do we want to work our way through the season awards?
We could do season awards. I have not looked at this. I went through, so NBA championships.
Oh, yeah, we can go to championships first.
Celtics plus 310. Thunder plus 650. Knicks plus 750. Sixers, Wolves, Nuggets right around plus 1,000. I think the Nuggets are plus 1,100. Sixers and Wolves are plus 1,000.
Yep, Mavericks are also plus 1,100.
Plus 1,100. Okay. So yeah, you have those three. So obviously Celtics heavy favorites.
Celtics, yep. Yeah, we can do it kind of like what we did for the NFL. You got the Celtics by themselves as the clear favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Thunder and Knicks kind of in the next little clump.
Tier 2.
Yep, and then you got the next four teams, the 76ers, the Wolves, the Nuggets, and the Mavericks. And then there's kind of like a half step down to the Bucks at plus 1,400.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's crapshoot.
Well, it's a crapshoot, but yeah, I mean, obviously the Celtics are obviously the play, but I do think.
Well, I don't know if they're the play odds-wise.
No, that's what I was going to say. Is value-wise, they probably aren't the play.
Right.
You probably want to find value in that tier 3, Nuggets, T-Wolves, Sixers. To be honest, I feel like that's the best value.
Sixers or
Plus
Mavericks.
1,000 or Mavericks. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
plus 1,000 or more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there you go. Because
I would say,
because the Knicks. I mean, this is one game. I get it's one game, but the Knicks look horrible.
they don't look great.
Yeah.
It's one game. They got a lot of new pieces, so they have to figure it out. But, I mean, me personally, I would probably pick between whichever team you like best. This isn't advice, but this is what I would do. Pick whatever Western Conference team that you like best between the Wolves, the Nuggets, and the Mavericks, and pick one of those teams to win the championship.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You get the best value of that plus 1,000 or plus 1,100.
Yep.
And they could potentially, they're going to, one of those teams most likely, well, if you think they're going to win the West, then there you go.
And then they're at least there.
Yeah, you got to just play. I mean,
And
you
who
never know
knows?
what's going to do in the championship.
If the Celtics aren't in it, then you got to feel pretty good.
Yeah.
The only reason, I think the
Tatum's
only
not- hasn't
reason,
missed the shot.
Who?
Tatum.
Oh, yeah. The only reason that the Knicks and the 76ers are higher odds-wise is because for them to get to the championship, they would have to beat the Celtics. And
Right.
so if they're in there, then it's like, all right, well, they're there now.
Yeah.
And they already, in theory, beat the best team.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Celtics last year had 64 wins. 64!
Yeah, 64 and 18.
Yeah.
You think they go over or under that? I was having a tough time finding
Over-unders or totals.
regular season wins.
What? Oh, boy.
Oh, they're off because they are.
Dear boy.
Dang.
They're off because they played already?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a bummer.
64 is a lot, dude.
Yep.
Because you have to think there's going to be one or two games where they sit a back-to-back, right? Once it starts to get later in the season, I feel like that's like a thing. Like, hey, we're not going to play all of our guys, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
64 is a lot. Bridge is starting to heat it up. Yeah, I would say probably under. I think they get to 60, but 64 is a lot in my mind.
Yep.
Yeah, Nuggets, Thunder had 57, Timberwolves 56 last year, so yeah, which is a lot more competitive.
You think the Wolves go over 51 and a half?
51.5 wins total.
Yeah.
Yes. So 52 or more.
Mm-hmm.
I do think so. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. You look at it. So Mavericks, Clippers, Timberwolves, Nuggets, Thunder. 5 teams had over 50 wins.
Yep.
Celtics had 64. Knicks were the next closest at 50. 14 games behind.
So the Thunder are projected 57.5 to go over that. And the Wolves are
51?
51.5.
What are the Nuggets?
50.5.
I think you could take value in both the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. Mavericks? 49?
49.
Okay.
They're projected 49.
So they were 49. They won 50 last year. I mean, the Nuggets and Timberwolves won 56 and 57.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can easily find value in that. I don't think either team got worse.
Yeah.
I mean, the Thunder is hard at 57.5. That's crazy, but
It's high.
it's very high. So,
There you go.
24 saves.
It ended.
Yep, 24. For 2. Yeah. So you want to go to season awards?
Yeah, season
Okay.
awards. We can do that and then we're done.
Bebop up.
Season awards.
This is on FanDuel.
MVP.
So Luka's the favorite.
Luka's the favorite. Shea is next. Jokic, Giannis, Ant, Jason Tatum, Brunson, Wembanyama.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think the one kind of thing is like, so if the Thunder win the Western Conference,
Mm-hmm.
I think Shea obviously makes a huge push to be the MVP.
Yep.
He's obviously the best player, probably averages over 30 points a game.
He did last year, yep.
Yeah. Obviously, Luka's up there too, but I think if the Mavericks win the West or even finish top 2, I think Luka's the clear cut. I just think
So which
I
one
would
do
say
you think's
Shea.
gonna
I'm
happen?
going Shea.
Okay.
I like Shea in that pick. I mean, they're the same odds, right?
330 for Luka and 380 for Shea.
Okay, take that 50-point bump. I mean, Jokic is also hard to bet against too, but
Yep.
Yeah.
He is.
don't like it.
My pick is going to be I'm gonna go with